dictionary definition is just the applied science of improving the match between people and work. Unfortunately, that is different in every office setting. Ergonomics is a little bit different for everybody. I know we were talking about your chair and how you kind of set up yourself at your desk. But when we're talking about office ergonomics, what we mean is like sitting in neutral positions, making sure, especially our upper back, our neck, our shoulders are relaxed. Where is your equipment located on your desk? Is it within reach? Or you're constantly grabbing and straining for it? Using some fatigue-reducing techniques while at work as well. Some common concerns that might need some further information about. One thing we don't really think about is eye strain. Everybody's done it. You stare at a computer screen all day long. At some point in the day, your eyes hurt, they're tired. Commonly called computer vision syndrome. It's temporary, but we always say, if symptoms keep coming on or they get worse, obviously go consult with your doctor about it. If you're thinking about, always think about taking some time during the day to rest your eyes. Of course, bosses don't like to walk around and see their employees' eyes closed thinking somebody's taking a nap. So, but just take a few seconds for yourself, okay? And what you're simply doing is you're just resting the optic nerve, okay? And when you open up your eyes, find something at the other end of the office, at least 20 feet away or somewhere in that neighborhood, and focus on that. What that's going to help do is take away from your eyes focusing on something close to focusing on something far. It's going to work the different muscles in our eyes. You'd be shocked how many muscles actually control our eyes and what do what. Also, joint soreness. When you find yourself at the end of the day or during the course of the day, my shoulders are killing me, my elbows hurt, wrists hurt. I think everybody can probably think of at some point today, you think my wrists are killing me, or my fingers are stiff. Especially this time of the year, it's humid, joints start hurting, hands start swelling a little bit. It's horrible for office personnel. And then, of course, neck and back pain. Okay, we want to make sure that those muscles, those areas of your back are staying relaxed. If left unchecked, I know we talked about carpal tunnel syndrome a little bit, but could lead to some musculoskeletal or cumulative trauma disorders, which pretty much is what carpal tunnel syndrome is. It's micro traumas that are happening to the ulnar nerve or median nerve. As your ulnar nerve comes down, it passes here on the inside of your forearm, and then your median nerve comes right down in the middle. With carpal tunnel syndrome, a lot of the time it's a cumulative trauma to the median nerve, and it gets entrapped, and it hurts. And then you got this, underneath your skin, they call it a fascia, but really it's like a connective tissue. And it gets tight, and it starts compressing those nerves, and that's what leads to carpal tunnel syndrome. And what they essentially do when they conduct the surgery is they go in and they start cutting stuff to make room for things. So, and unfortunately with surgery, once you do it, you can't undo it. So, let me see. Symptoms, we talked about symptoms. We got pain, we got tingling, numbness in the hands and fingers, and like we also said, notice first at night, having trouble getting to sleep, hands are restless or they're tingling, or while driving, your hands hanging, they start to hurt. Along that with office equipment, all office equipment is designed, these are great, they're comfortable, but they're not designed to sit in for long periods of time. Nothing is. That's where, we say, get up, move around a little bit, stretch out, move the joints, it's like, oiling the squeaky joint. So, but we always need good posture and work methods to avoid the problems, along with good chiropractic care, of course. No work station or chair permits hours at a time. So, like I said, move around, take short breaks. I don't know what break schedule you guys have, but at some point, get up. If you got to shrug your shoulders, move the elbows around, just get some fluid motion in the joints. Here's some techniques to help arranging your office or your desk area. You always want to avoid static muscle contractions. What we mean by static is stuff just held in one position for long periods of time. You're going to wear out the muscle, you're going to beat it up, it's going to get sore, it's going to get inflamed. Try to get a position where the upper back and the arms along with the neck and the shoulders are relaxed. If you go to this little photo, it's going to have where your screen and your eyes are in the same plane. Okay, that way you're not looking up, you're not looking down. Try to keep everything in the same plane. Try to keep the keyboard tray lower than the table, but not touching the knees. Okay, that allows your hands to kind of relax a little bit rather than your hands being elevated. Your hands are kind of lower. Okay. You see, wrist free in the station, straight with the forearms. So rather than having your wrists flexed or extended, try to keep them in a neutral position. Okay, that's going to keep from those nerves getting depressed and getting irritated. Try, if you can, keep your knee angles at 90 degrees. If you need to, you know, they've got little boxes that you can find, put your feet on to help elevate your knees a little bit. That's also going to help with some low back pain as well. Because as your knees are either flexed or extended, it's going to put stress on the hip joints, on the pelvis, and then, of course, all the load goes right to the low back. Again, feet flat on the floor or supported by a pedestal. You want the height of your chair to be adjusted to the person's height and the table. So, you know, of course, always make sure your chairs are adjustable. That way you can adjust it to the height where your legs are in that 90 degree. Of course, angle of your elbows, try to keep anywhere from 90 to 100 degrees. And then the back support, not too flexible to fit a lower natural back arch. So keeping yourself sitting straight up in posture, at times what you're going to end up doing is kind of jamming up those little joints in the low back and it can start leading to some low back pain. Back to some of my techniques here. You might want to move your chair a little closer. What that does is avoids constantly leaning forward. Avoid cradling the telephone with your head. Of course, that's just going to avoid neck strains. I don't know how much time you guys spend on the phone. If it's an enormous amount of time, you might want to think about using headphones. I don't know if you do. Those are a great alternative from holding your phone. Lower your monitor. Try to keep between 20 and 30 inches away. Promotes a more neutral eye position. Like we touched on a little earlier, avoid pressing your palms and wrists into sharp edges while working. Okay, that's what that's going to end up doing is also is, let's say with a laptop especially, as you let your wrists lie, it's just going to compress right into that joint area. Again, locate your frequently used items within reach. That way you don't have to strain for that stapler or cup of coffee, which is frequently used in our office. Remove tight-fitting or sharp bracelets and watches. Again, we're just keep away from depressing that whole joint area. And again, into this sheet, I just added some exercises and some stretches that you can do at any point of the day. If you're feeling a little beat up, keep this at your desk, pull it out, and say, all right, we're going to go right through exercises 1 through 11, or I have enough time to go through 1 through 10. You know, don't have to complete them all, but some is better than none. Especially, you know, getting up, stretching out the shoulders. Shoulders is a big thing. Shoulders get tight, and it'll end up affecting the whole shoulder girdle. All right. The wrists, you know, these 2 exercises, stretching out this whole area in the wrists. Getting up, twisting the low back a little bit, getting some motion in the low back. Then, of course, you know, shake out the hands. Everybody likes to. What it ends up doing is activating the nerves, activating everything else in the hands, activating circulation.
How often do you think we should do this a day in an 8-hour day?
A couple times.
A couple times?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Not once every hour. And especially if you get to that point of the day where you feel like you just beat up or you're just dragging a little bit and it's getting to that last hour and a half or 2 hours of the day. And it's usually, most people run for a cup of coffee or some caffeine. Jump up. Increasing your circulation is also going to increase your energy levels. So that way you can avoid, hey, no more caffeine, no more coffee, anything like that. So, any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
I'm really bad at constantly crossing my legs. How
Okay.
bad is that for your back and your hips?
And your blood flow.
And your blood flow.
And your little spider veins.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you just touched on that.
Yeah.
When you are sitting with your legs crossed, and of course, you know, it seems comfortable for you. But what you end up doing is our pelvis, as you walk, our pelvis kind of rotates like this, and it kind of rotates in and out. When you cross your leg, what you end up doing, let's say you cross your right leg, okay, that right pelvic bone is going to kind of roll out to kind of make room for that leg to kind of come over. Something, if you keep that rolled out, can cause a chronic issue where you can start having some low back pain because that pelvic bone is starting to roll out this way, and what happens It's kind of a chain of events, because your sacrum or your tailbone has to move with it accordingly. And then, of course, you're going to affect your left hip because that's attached to the left pelvic bone. So everything's going to start rolling, and you're going to start gapping this joint a little bit more than you are this one.
Okay.
It's not
So
good.
it's not good.
Yeah.
What about crossing your ankles?
Yes,
Because I do
I
that
do
under
that.
my chair all
Yeah,
the time
all the
too.
time.
That is better.
Mhm. Yeah.
Better than crossing the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The better.
Still
of the
not good, though.
Two evils. The better of the two evils, right?
Gotcha.
I will sometimes tell people that you know, I mean, your pelvis is meant, you know, your legs are meant to be hip length apart, and it's whether you sit or whether you sleep. I mean, people sleep, they bring your hips this way, you know, and if you do get some back problems, it's always good to put a pillow between your legs to try to keep that your legs hip length apart. And the same with sitting. You know, sitting, you know, you want to keep your legs, I mean,